Hello everyone, this is Griffin Station back here with another One Punch Man, a hero nobody knows video, and before I get into this video I do want to mention that this video is going to consist of both the positive and negative effects and what I perceived were to be positive and negative from the beta, and so it is going to be a combo of that plus a sort of review. It's not going to be a full review of the full game obviously because I've only played the beta, but from what I gleaned from the beta I'm going to give a review of what I think of the game so far, if I think it's worth getting, and so forth. So if you want to check all that out, make sure to watch through the video. And I would also love to hear what you all have to say if you got to play the beta in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts, your comments on the beta before you actually get into this video, because I don't want my opinion on the beta to sway your thoughts. I want to hear your honest feedback for the beta, what you thought it did really well, what you thought it could have improved on, and yeah, I would really love to hear what you all have to say, because right now I feel as though there's a really big voice out there, not one specific voice, but a collection of voices that are pushing one narrative of the game, and even if I am pushing it, I would love to hear other voices come out and say what they truly think, because I think having a platform where a lot of people can say what they feel about this, say if they like it, if they don't like it, what they like about it, what they don't like about it, is really important. It honestly just leads to better change in the future and improves this game not only, and as well as other games like this for the future. So having multiple opinions out there is always a great thing. So with that out of the way, let's jump into this video. The first thing I do want to mention is that when I went into this game, into this beta, I was expecting this to be a Jump Force 2. Now, not necessarily in terms of characters and stuff like that, but in terms of mechanics. And I'm really glad that that was not the case. It does not play like Jump Force at all. So if you wanted this game to not play like Jump Force, there you have it. It does not play like Jump Force. It is its own unique game. It actually plays more like Burning Blood than it does Jump Force. So if you like the mechanics of Burning Blood, then you might like this, but of course there are differences from this and Burning Blood. The other positives that I really liked about this, other than like the gameplay itself, is the music. The music all had a great tone. It fit perfectly with the One Punch Man world with this game, and I feel as though it was a really good fit in terms of the overall meshing, melding the game with the gameplay, with the user experience. The music overall was really good. Another quality of life feature that I really liked in this game, they do have a hub world, which I've made video before, where I am not a fan of hub worlds at all. But I do feel as though the hub world implementation in this game was really well done in terms of even though it seems useless, which I'll get into in my negative portion of this video, the hub world is really small, so it's really easy to travel around. It's really easy to get to who you need to talk to. Of course, there was only, I think, like 1 or 2 NPCs you could actually talk to in this game, so there wasn't much to do, but the hub world itself was pretty small, so it was really easy to travel around, and it made loading times a lot shorter than, let's say, in a game like Jump Force. You could also, in that hub world, while waiting for a match, which waiting for matches didn't take that long. It was only like maybe 10-20 seconds, and after you were in a match, you could also travel around the hub world. And when traveling around the hub world, I mean, you can't really interact with NPCs, but you can still like interact with other players using emotes and stuff, which is cool, I guess, if you're into that. It makes it so you aren't just like, you know, in a loading screen while waiting to get into a PvP match, because honestly, like, that is pretty frustrating when you've chosen your character and after you're just in a loading screen until you get into a match. So they actually give you the option here to travel around, do stuff that you might not otherwise have done if you didn't get into a match. It makes the hub world more important, I feel, rather than just being a place where you can travel around to get to your quote-unquote menu. It actually gives life to it. Another thing that I do really like is the separation of Saitama between the different game modes, and when I say that, I mean you can go online and choose different possible modes to fight in, and one includes Saitama and one doesn't include Saitama. Now, I don't necessarily feel as though these modes should theoretically be separated. I feel as though Saitama is pretty balanced, but if you just don't want to even deal with Saitama, you can just choose the non-Saitama version of the mode, and then after you'll be good, so you don't have to fight Saitama if you don't have to, because his mechanics are so out there. And I feel as though a game like this should have that, and other games like this where they have a character that just operates on a completely different playing field should have this feature to make the game, I would say, more balanced. I feel as though that they should also implement the create a character into a type of game mode like this as well, since created characters can be pretty broken in terms of melding together multiple different types of movesets and stuff. So yeah, I like the inclusion of Saitama into these different game modes. I think they should do the same with create a character. One thing I do need to quickly mention though is that the netcode was extremely good. I was surprised by how good the netcode was. And so for those of you worrying for the netcode, you don't have to worry, because if the netcode was like this in the beta, I'm sure they're only going to improve it when it gets to the final game, and the netcode was nearly flawless. Of course, they could have been expecting the number of players that played, let's say, the Jump Force beta, because I'm sure more people play the Jump Force beta than they played the One Punch Man beta. But the One Punch Man beta was really good in terms of the netcode, and so people can be looking forward to that. And last but not least, the characters, I feel a lot of them played really well. I really liked Tornado, I really liked Genos, and a couple of the other ones. I feel like a lot of them were fun, although of course there are some that weren't fun. Now, with all that said, I am going to go into the negatives. I feel as though the combo system is too shallow, even for an anime arena fighting game, and I mean, that's saying something. I feel as though you can only pull off a couple combos, and in a game like this, I think combos should be one of the baseline features. Like, even in the Storm games, you can only combo with square, but at least in the Storm games, you have multiple different variants, you have tilts and such, whereas in this game, it's just square, 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 triangle, and after you can hold square and you can hold triangle, but it doesn't really offer that great of variety. It doesn't change up the moveset really at all. It doesn't change the overall battle. The main thing you want to do in this game is your special abilities, and I feel as though that took out a lot of the fun for me. I feel as though that is a pretty big negative in this game, and even in a comparison to a game like Jump Force had a lot more variety in terms of the combo system. Even though the combo system wasn't like extremely deep, it was still more deep than this game. I feel as though this game, One Punch Man: A Hero Nobody Knows, has the most shallow combo system I've ever played, and that's saying something, unfortunately. Now, I was earlier praising the separation of the Saitama game modes, but in the same vein, Saitama's the main character, and I feel as though a lot of people are just going to opt out of that game mode, and therefore Saitama's just not going to be featured in his own game. It's his first game on a console, and you just aren't going to see Saitama, and I just find that a little odd. It'd be like playing a Naruto game, but like Naruto is like excluded from the online system. For half of the people that are going to be playing the game, they aren't going to see Naruto. I just find that a little strange, in my opinion. I feel as though since they went this route with Saitama, it was good that they separated him, but I feel as though they could have gone a different direction with Saitama to make him still in the game and still a part of the full game, but like the main character's being excluded from different game modes, so it just feels a little odd to me. I don't necessarily like that. The create a character system is also very unimpressive, although it was pre-made, so I didn't actually get to make the created character, but the created character, in my opinion, it didn't really do anything for me. It basically reminded me of Jump Force's created character system. I mean, I didn't really get to see too much customization because there were only 2 options, but overall, I just wasn't impressed with the created character system. I'm expecting it to be exactly like Jump Force, and I'm just not really caring for it. I'm probably never going to use it if I end up getting One Punch Man: A Hero Nobody Knows. Now, while I was praising the small hub world and being able to move around before you get into matches, it's also a double-edged sword. There's nothing really to do in the hub world. So I feel as though if they did like games and stuff, I don't really know how you could implement it, but just like have stuff to do around the hub world other than just interact with the other people. I feel as though that would be really cool, because you can't even interact with the NPCs. You have to interact with the other, live players, and if they don't do anything, then it's just, I don't know, you just don't do anything. So implement something there to make the hub world a bit more lively, to make it more entertaining. And I would also say the HUD should be a bit cleaner. And when I say that, I mean the bar profile image for the character. I feel as though they should really implement something there to make it more clear, because it took me a couple of matches to see, oh, that bar is how you awaken, how you use your special abilities. It was pretty tough to see. It's also like not that bright. It's pretty dark. Even the blue charge bar is really hard to see. It's hard to see in comparison to what's actually when it's empty compared to when it's full, in my opinion at least. And I feel as though this should really be changed. It should just be made like maybe brighter, just so it catches people's eyes more. I don't know, it just is pretty tough to see. Specific character change, I would make Sonic's abilities cost more to use, because right now his abilities are super easily abusable. They cost like only 1 or 2 charges, and so you basically do a combo and after you can immediately get into one of his special abilities, which I think are pretty easily spammable. So I think his cost should be increased. He's also really strong anyways, so I feel as though just maybe increase them both by 1 and we'd be solid. Another change I'd like to see, because I don't particularly like it right now, for the amount of energy you have to consume to get to an ult, they're not worth it. The only reason why you'd use them is if you have Saitama on your team, because they cut down your time for Saitama to get there by about 60 seconds. But other than that, it's just not really worth it. You can do a full combo and you do the same amount of damage as an ult. So yeah, don't use ults unless you have Saitama on your team. It's not really worth it. Just Guard is also just not a good mechanic. It punishes the attacker for no good reason. I feel as though if Just Guard made it so you get to cancel the opponent's attack, or just it shouldn't make you teleport behind them and immediately start attacking them. I feel as though it should like maybe even like give you like extra defense or something, but not that. I just don't like that. Gameplay is also pretty slow in comparison to other anime arena fighters. I feel as though anime arena fighters should be pretty fast to make them really interesting, but right now the gameplay is just pretty slow. Another change I would really like to see removed, or at least maybe another game mode, sort of like the Saitama thing, is stage hazards. Stage hazards are really annoying in my opinion, and even though this game isn't competitive, I don't think it should be in all the game modes. I feel as though it should be a toggleable option when going into the game. So with all of that said, I am really glad that this isn't a clone of Jump Force. I do think that the combo system is more simplistic than I was even expecting. I honestly was expecting like at least a tiny bit deeper, a little bit closer to Jump Force, although I am glad that it is not Jump Force. I only got to play 1 session of the beta. Unfortunately, I was busy for the other 3 sessions, but after playing the 1 session, I think I definitely got the amount of gameplay that I needed to get my solid thoughts on this, and honestly, I don't think it's worth $60 from what I played, the content that is seemingly in this game. If we're just getting a story mode plus this fighting game mode, I honestly don't see this being worth $60. It just doesn't have the content there for me to justify spending that amount of money on this game when I could be spending it on another game. Please let me know what you thought about the beta in the comment section down below. If you're still going to get One Punch Man: A Hero Nobody Knows, I'd love to hear what you all have to say. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will catch you all in the next one. Bye.